Those of you who are watching just now, that was the engineers just checking a few things. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this demonstration of Concorde Nose Droop. This Concorde is one of two pre-production ones, the one owned by the British government. There's a French one, and this one was one of the first to fly. It first flew over 50 years ago today, and after 5 years of test flying, retired here to Duxford and was donated to the Duxford Aviation Society, a charity that's a partner of the Imperial War Museum. It's done lots of interesting things in those 5 years, lots of experimenting, and it's described, if you look at the boards down towards the end of the plane, it describes some of those adventures they had. One of the things it did was develop the droop nose, because the pilots cannot see forward to see a runway or whatever with the cockpit and visor, or the nose and visor like that. Our pilots today are Simon and Joe. Yeah, they went back, Simon, well done. What we're going to do is pretend we're going from Heathrow to JFK, New York, just to demonstrate the different phases of nose configuration during the flight. So the pilots are on board, they've taken on 90 tons of fuel, about 100 passengers, done all their pre-flight checks, they've been started up on the ramp and they've been pushed back, they're ready to go. The navigation lights are on the wing tips, and the anti-collision lights are on where the wings join the fuselage. So they're pushed back, ready to go, engines are running, but they can't see where they're going with the nose like that. So the first thing they do is lower the heat shield visor. And you can see the actual cockpit window now, but even now they can't see the taxiway or the runway to take off. So to taxi and take off, the nose lowers to 5 degrees. Now in that configuration, they're ready for takeoff. When they're on the runway, unlike all other airliners, what you do with this one is you put all the throttles to maximum and the reheats on, and it takes off at about 250 miles an hour. The reheats, if you've not seen photos, look like jet flames coming out the back. Well, like if you saw the demonstration just now by the fighter, the same thing exactly. After about a minute, they switch those off, climb gradually up. At about 300 miles an hour, they start to get the plane back into its supersonic configuration, so the nose goes up. Once that's in the 0 degrees position, they then will put the heat shield or visor up. It's not allowed to go supersonic over land. Once it gets out over the Bristol Channel, the reheats come back on, the engines to full power again, and it climbs up to 63,000 feet, something like twice the height of other airlines, the Boeings or the Airbuses. It then, this one by the way is the fastest ever Concorde. It had to research how fast it could go. Its speed is 1,450 miles an hour, so it can overtake a rifle bullet. What they found though is when you go that fast, the metal gets too hot and it would limit the service life. So the airline ones run 100 miles an hour, or ran 100 miles an hour slower. So we cruise across the Atlantic. This is also the fastest transatlantic airliner, 2 hours and 46 minutes going east to west, landing configuration. So first we'll take that heat shield and visor down again. And then the nose comes down 5 degrees, which we saw at takeoff. However, because Concorde comes in with its head held high, rather like a swan landing, uses the delta wind to slow itself down, they cannot see the runway with the nose like that. So this one experimented how far down should the nose go, and this is the droopiest nose of the Concorde fleet, 17.5 degrees. Now whilst that was great for seeing where you're going, when the airline pilots started training on this one, British Airways, Air France, They didn't like it because they couldn't see the nose, and being insecure like airline pilots are, they wanted the nose to be visible. So the airline ones, the nose only goes down to 12.5 degrees, which this one developed, we can show you. So like that, that's how Concorde would be approaching to land at Kennedy or at Heathrow. So we're coming into land, we're going to turn the taxi lights on, they're on the side of the cockpit, and the landing lights on. They are recessed, you can possibly hear them coming down out of the wing. When they're fully down, they'll illuminate. Okay, so like that, we're coming into land. We land quite a bit faster than the other airliners, but we can also stop a lot faster because we have carbon fibre brakes. Once we've stopped and they're ready to go on to the taxiway, we want to get that nose back into the taxi position. On this one, we first have to go down again to 17.5 degrees. And then up to the 5-degree position for taxiing. And so like that, it'll taxi off the runway up to the air bridge at the terminal. Once they're secured to that, the pilots will restore it to its supersonic profile so that the bridge passengers can see what they paid for. So here you see the nose going up to 0 degrees. And then that heat shield visor will come back up. And that's it, folks, a demonstration of all the different Concorde nose droops going through operations. Okay, thanks a lot.